More European action for you now is Felix Stenitzer, the leader, in first place at the top of the screen on 61 points, takes on the last place person, Nathan Blewitt, who is on 15 points. We saw Nathan last week as well with his Jaw Storm brew. We're not going to see that this time. We're going to see what looks like an elf build. We'll have to see how this goes. Felix looks like he's on Black-White Knights. Bit awkward there. I think Nathan would have liked to have that land come in untapped so that he can play the Steel Leaf Champion on turn 3, but it's still going to come down the next turn. You can see Felix on the other side. He's got 2 knights, but they're both going to be outclassed by the champion. So we'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nathan with access to 5 mana here. He's going to go Rishkar first. He can then treasure map. Those 2 knights, Knight of Malice and Knight of Grace on Felix's side, get +1. The black one gets +1 if you have someone controls a white permanent, and the white one gets +1 if you control a black, so they go really well together. A little bit of a synergy there from Wizards. As we see a second Knight of Malice come down. 1, 2, 3, 4. One option here for Nathan, he could choose to shoot down that Knight of Malice and then push through some damage and start racing. He's got a Marwyn the Nurturer there, so I think he's just going to play Steel Leaf Champion as a blocker just to stem the bleeding a little bit, because those knights have first strike, so there's no viable attacks at this stage. He's going to be able to get a scryer with the treasure map. The only problem here is that if Felix has a removal spell for the Steel Leaf Champion, then this is going to be a blowout. Felix has missed on his 3rd land drop though, so the Fatal Push will not do it, so we'll see what he's got. And he's got nothing. Okay, he's obviously got a Fatal Push, I'm guessing here. That's what he's telegraphing. So he's got to give up a permanent in order to trigger the Fatal Push. We'll see if he's bluffing or not. No, he's not bluffing. There it is. He'll take down the Steel Leaf Champion. That was super risky because he would have pushed 6 damage and put Nathan to 5, but Nathan, if he didn't fall for it, could have just cracked back and used the ballista to clear the path. And there's another champion anyway, so these are good draws for Nathan. He's got 1, 2, 3, access to 4 mana. He can use Rishkar to tap as well. I think he kind of wants to get on the front foot here, but he's just thinking about how he's going to do it. You can see Marwyn the Nurturer there gets +1 for each elf, I believe. So he does have 2 very good options available. He's going to go with Marwyn. And he's going to use the creatures to play it. Marwyn is a 1/1. Oh, okay, so it gets +1 each time an elf enters. Let me just bring that up just so I'm reading this correctly. Yeah, it's a 1/1, so whenever another elf enters the battlefield you get +1, but then you can actually tap Marwyn, add an amount of green equal to Marwyn's power. So Marwyn can actually tap now for 2 green mana. And that's a good... he's got a really awesome combo there with Marwyn and Walking Ballista. That's a ton of mana. You can create a 4/4 Ballista. He's going to be able to shoot something down here. This is bad news for Felix. Nathan getting the brews going. He's going to just wipe half his board. And then the little Knight of Malice down to a 2/2. Well, yeah, I was going to say he's got 1 mana floating, may as well use it for the treasure. Oh, there's another Ballista. So yeah, I like this. Another spicy brew from Nathan to go along with his Jaw Storm, which was pretty impressive last week as well. No attacks there. I think I would have gotten in with the Steel Leaf Champion. You can see Felix is just really struggling without that 4th land, so because he cycled the cast out and then played the Isolated Chapel, you can tell that he got the Isolated Chapel from the cast out. Upkeep, he wants to flip that Treasure Cove. So here comes Ballista for how much this time? 2... it can be a lot. Okay, so Felix sees Ballista and concedes. This is Nathan's fancy graphic. And we go to game 2. I didn't see oh, there's a Sandworm Convergence here, interesting. That's a pretty popular EDH card. I didn't see a second colour from Nathan, so I'm guessing he's on mono green. Felix does have, here's a Doomfall, so what's this going to take? I'm guessing Steel Leaf Champion. Felix does have... oh, he took Rishka. Interesting. I was going to say, in those colours, Felix probably has access to the best removal spells. And kind of annoying... oh, okay, that's a nice play from Felix. He had the cast out, that's why he didn't take the... that's why he didn't take the... he took the legendary creature with the... Doomfall, because he had the cast out. Cast out can't take down a legendary creature. Here come the Knights again, the Knight of Malice this time. Scout. Well, I don't think he wants that because he doesn't have any lands in his hand. Oh, he took it. Okay. I think it's a bit of a waste of time. You can tap the Land War Scout and it gets you can put a land from your hand into play, but you can see when he doesn't have any lands in hand, he's just going to play any land he draws anyway. I like this play here, playing the Ballista out for 2, because he's going to be able to block and then in response remove the other blocker, so he's going to save himself about 6 points of damage here. Or not, he's going to take 6 points of damage. Angel of Sanctions, taking what? Okay, so Angel of Sanctions is targeting the Ballista, so in response he removes the Knight. Now this is risky. Felix with 1 card left in hand and 1 black open. He can Fatal Push that Land War Scout if that's where the counters are going. We'll see if he's got it in hand. He does not. And Felix now, that means he's going to be playing off the top of his deck. Well, you can see he blocked there because he's going to be able to get the... he's got the 6 mana to get it back. Eternalize it. Here's Eldest Reborn. So the first chapter is target player sacrifices a creature. Second chapter is each player discards a card. And third chapter is choose a creature out of a graveyard and put it on the battlefield under your control. So I think Nathan's got to sacrifice a Land War Scout here. As we see Felix now out of cards. Upkeep is going to be a Scry. He's going to find a Khan. I think, yeah, Khan's good here. He can just sit back behind that Gearhulk and just start to generate card advantage. A Marwyn or a Verdurous Gearhulk. You don't want to give him either of those, but he's going to get a Marwyn. And he's getting aggressive. I like this. I think something's just exploded here. This is in Nathan's recording. Nathan recorded this video. I don't know what this is. Printer driver issues, perhaps. We're back. The seizure is over. And Felix, I think, in deep trouble now, playing off the top of his deck. So discard a card, probably Sandworm, pretty easy discard there. He's still... Oh, actually, Treasure Map is going to flip, so it'll give him 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he's actually... If he can draw a land here, he can... I'd take that. He's going to be able to play Sandworm Convergence this turn. And I think that's going to be game. I don't think Felix can beat that. He can top deck a cast out to get rid of it, but the damage is done already. Unless, of course, the cast out is in hand right now. In comes the Gear Hulk. Felix is going to get a creature back with the Eldest Reborn, but way too late. As you can see, the Sandworm Convergence. In turn, Vraska's Contempt is going on Khan. But there's a 5/5 worm you've got to deal with. And he's going to be dealing with a 5/5 worm every turn from here on out. I wouldn't have got that Angel of Sanctions, because that's a bit of a waste actually. So the Angel of Sanctions takes down the Sandworm Convergence. He could have just cast it for 6 and then got another creature. So I think he's a creature down there. As Marwyn the Nurturer starts to load up now. Can tap it for 3 next turn. 3 greens. If mono green does not have creature removal, so if he can somehow get rid of the Angel of Sanctions, then he's going to be he can get the other one back. Gideon, this is a good stabilizer here. What would really cause problems is a Ballista. So he plus Gideon on the Gear Hulk. Nothing doing here. Both players playing off the top of their deck. You can see History of Benali is going to play out, and it's not going to be very exciting. Two of the knights are going to get the plus, but I think I think Nathan's got that pretty much covered. He's gonna... What's he doing Hush of Oasis on? Let me see. Oh, it went to Servant of the Conduit. Going at the face. This is lethal, so he has to block. I like this attack. Double blocks the worm. And so Felix is going to drop to 2. Felix is actually dead on board here. He needs a top deck. Top deck or he's dead. What's he going to find? He doesn't find it. Nathan sweeps it. A big upset there in Standard, taking it 2 games to 0 as we go to Modern now. What is this? Oh, thank you. Looks like he's having a crack at... Is that Burn? I was just actually discussing in private chat yesterday with Wim de Kock and Felix, actually, that I've never seen Burn in this league before. So this is kind of... As ridiculous as that sounds, in 6 seasons, nobody's ever really bothered to play it. Chromatic Sphere. A Darksteel Citadel and a Chromatic Sphere. I don't know what this is. Krak Clan Ironworks. Yeah, I think Nathan should have suspended Riftbolt turn 1. He's going to suspend it turn 2. Equal Wellspring. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is a... Pretty sure this is the Krak clan Ironworks. This match brought to you by this very nice organic green tea from Whole Foods. Another super hot day here. Okay, so he's got two. There's a lightning bolt. So I actually really like this deck choice from Nathan. I think it's pretty original in the meta here. I got no idea about Felix's deck. You can see he is gaining life though from that Inventor Sphere because he's got. Here's the scrap trawler. Past in Flames. So he's put his own spin on this deck. Got him to 9. Skullcrack for 3 puts him to 6. He's actually got the lethal in hand. I think another land would have been super helpful there, because yeah, and I like this play firing off the Skullcrack so that Inventor Sphere is not going to gain your life. So he actually has... Nathan's got lethal next turn if he can find a land. An untapped land will be lethal. He doesn't need to worry about the scrap trawler. He doesn't find it though. What do you do here? Gonna suspend Rift Bolt. Shard Volley's super awkward because you've got to sacrifice a land and he really doesn't want to do that. Okay, so he's going for this one. Down to 1. Felix is dead on board if he doesn't, because the Rift Bolt suspended. If he doesn't go off this turn, he's dead. There's the Krak clan Ironworks. Well, Nathan actually missed us. I mean, Nathan didn't miss, but he was just unlucky there in that if he drew that third land, it was game over. Game over for Felix. But I think it's time to go off now. Yeah, Nathan's seen enough. He knows all about Aetherflux Reservoir. We saw last week against David Hall. So we're going to game 2. Flame of Cold in Modern. Yeah, Felix is just saying in chat, he's lucky that he dodged Eidolon of Rhetoric, Eidolon of the Great Revels, sorry, which would have been absolute killer for this deck. You see, Nathan suspends Rift Bolt first this time. I actually think if he did that last time, he would have won the match, because it would have saved him a turn. Okay, yeah, Nathan's just saying in chat he doesn't actually run he doesn't run Eidolons in the main deck. So he's down to 17. And here's his card, Flame of Keld. This is his spin on this deck. I think he fetches Basic Mountain here. You can see he's already got 2 white sources. Oh, he's going to fetch. He's going to shock himself. Boros Charm. Because Flame of Keld, I think you got to discard your hand, so you can't do it this turn. Well, I think Boros Charm was in instant. I don't think he needed to fire that off just there. Okay, so he's got the Krak clan Ironworks now. He's found it. Felix found it from the ancient Styrians. And again, he fires off the lightning helix. I don't know if he's got any artifact removal that he would have bought in. Certainly, obviously, red's going to have artifact removal, but whether he's got it in his sideboard or not, I'm not sure. Because here's the Ironworks. This is sacrifice a... Sacrifice... He brings a scrap trawler in now. Krak clan Ironworks is sacrifice an artifact, get 2 colorless mana. As it looks like Felix starting to go off now, he's just going to keep going round and round in circles of Scrap Trawler and Mox Opal. I'll just bring up Scrap Trawler to make sure I get this right. So Scrap Trawlers, whenever a Scrap Trawler or another artifact is put into the graveyard, return to your hand artifact card in your graveyard with lesser converted mana cost. So he's getting rid of a Terrarian for 1 and getting back a Mox Opal for 0. So he's up to 10. You can see he's building toward Emrakul, I think. So there's the Mox Opal again. Tap it, goes to 11. Sack it, goes to 13. Get back. Here's Terrarian. Do it again. Up to 14. Scrap Trawler trigger. I don't think Nathan's getting another turn here. Plays a Mox Opal. He's up to 16, 17, 18 now. He's just digging through his deck to try and find that Emrakul. Yeah, I'd be curious to see how this deck beats a Rest in Peace or a Stony Silence. Yeah, Felix has got up 22 mana floating. Yeah, Nathan's seen enough. We're going to Legacy. 22 mana. He's just cycling until he found his. Then he found the Etherflux Reservoir, so it was all over there. This is again. We saw this brew against David. It's Dragonstorm from Nathan, and he's not getting good. He's had to go to. He's had to mull to 4. Not sure what Felix is on in Legacy these days. Well, him to Turak, so Nathan has to discard 2 cards, so it looks like it's just a kind of a Grixis control build for... Or Inquisition, I think Seething Song down, Brainstorm main phase. Thoughtseize probably takes Cabal Ritual. Oh, he's going to take the Faithless Leading, okay. I don't know if he would know what Nathan is on yet. I mean, the Seething Song Cabal Ritual would kind of give it away. Two Baleful Strix now. There's his third land. He can flash back Faithless Leading now. He needs one more land and he could actually Seething Song into Cabal Ritual to play Kakusho. Because Felix is presenting a pretty slow clock here. 2 1-1s, not exactly getting the job done super fast. You'd imagine he's 6 cards in hand, he's probably got a few Forcer Wheels hanging out there. Well, there's the land, so I think he could go off it if he wanted to. Obviously Nathan knows more about this deck than I do. But I'm seeing a tap 3 for Seething Song, gives you 5, pay 1 with Cabal Ritual, takes you to 4, takes you to 7, which would be enough. As here's Leovold's. So this is just a traditional Sultai control build. Or actually 4 colours, I believe. Baleful Strix here just really awkward for Nathan because it has Death Touch. And here's Jace the Mind Sculptor. Dragonstorm now. That's what he's after, but I don't know if he can get to it. Okay, he's trying for it now. Because there's a 2-turn clock on the board from Felix. And it worked. As he finds a boggled Hellkite, he's got to remove the Death Touches. Leovold's going to draw Felix a ton of cards here. I think Leovold draws a card for each time a permanent is targeted, so it's 3 times. This all on the stack. And there's the Force of Will on the Dragonstorm. Okay, so he's down to 5 life. He's got a 5/5 flyer in play. Jace is going to be able to bounce that, which is exactly what he does. So top deck time for Nathan here. No, not even top deck. Colligan's Commander is going to send it to game 2. Not really sure what... Oh no. Nathan just saying he had a ley line in his sideboard and he forgot to put it in. Yeah, I was going to say I'm not really sure how he was sideboard here. I think he needs Thought Seizers and that sort of hand disruption of his own, because I think Felix is loading up on counter spells here. Oh, him to Turak is discard 2 cards at random. I always forget about that. I always think it's just 2 cards and they get to choose. Not sure if Nathan... Oh, and here's a surgical extraction targeting faithless looting. So obviously sideboard tech there from Felix. I'm not sure if Nathan's deck plays any reanimation spells, because he did seem to voluntarily put creatures into the graveyard there. No faithless lootings now. But you can see he's really struggling to get that. He needs a second land here. Second land would enable him to go Rite of Flame into Desperate Ritual, into Cabal Ritual and play something. I just noticed Felix has a Preordain with a Yoda on it. I don't know how he got that. It's quite interesting. There's everyone's pesky friend, Deathrite Shaman. Another Hymn to Turak. There's the land, so see if he wants to do something with it this turn. Actually he can't, because the card I was talking about was taken off the Hymn to Turak. Deathrite doing his thing, 2 per turn. It says 8 turn clock. Leavold's about to make that much faster. There's the program having a seizure again. And we're back. Seizure over. Yeah, this is really tough for Nathan. I don't know what he can do to... I think he just has to combo off to get out of this, but you can see a lot of Cabal rituals loaded up. I think he needs just one more land to be able to play the ritual and then play the dark ritual. But he needs some sort of a board wipe. I was going to say Felix is down to 2 cards, so if one of them is a Force of Will, then obviously it's going to take both cards out of his hand. Well, one of them is a Kolaghan's Command, so it might be a Flusterstorm. So he's going to make him discard. I don't think he really cares when he's got 6 cards that he can't do anything with. Discards the Blade Wing. He's at 9, so it is a 3, 4, 5. Felix has got, assuming he can get 2 points of damage from each Deathrite, it's going to put him to 7. A Snapcaster to get back. Him to Turak, okay. So lethal on board right here. Nathan needs to do something this turn. Finds another Dragonstorm. I don't think he can, so I think Felix has got it. Yeah, I think if Nathan could have found his pieces, because you can see he's got one, Felix has only got 1 card in hand. He probably desperately needed a sweeper there. Felix is saying he's got a Flusterstorm. Okay, so that would have done it. So Felix wins after Nathan took standard.